What's up, guys? Hope you guys had an amazing day. Hope you guys had an amazing start to your week. Intraday, we were leaning long the entire day. But in terms of swinging now, it's going to get a bit difficult because number one, we have the bonds breaking down and basically showing a lot of weakness. So that's one of the main reasons why I'm a bit skeptical really about holding long overnight and especially into elections, since we have midterm elections tomorrow. So a lot can still happen. It's sort of like a toss-up, essentially. We still see the large tech stocks still very, very overextended to the downside, right? But then we see Microsoft and Google really popping off. So maybe these can be the stocks that really help pull the rest of the market up. But again, it's still sort of, in the air. Not 100% guaranteed that this will continue, right? So, I mean, the main thing to look at is the dollar is showing weakness. So the dollar falling is obviously good for equities, right? But then with the bonds also falling, that becomes a bit more dangerous. Maybe, unless the bonds start breaking new lows, that's when we'll see weakness out of equities as well. But this weakness so far out of the bonds is not something that we want to see, to be honest. So essentially, obviously, overall, the entire market is bouncing. We're showing some strength. Tech is leading the rally here. But aside from that, it's really tough to see what's going to happen, essentially. Maybe, my plan essentially would be if we get back above 383, somewhere around that area, 383 or 385, we can start scaling into longer term puts, probably for late this year or early next year. So that's what I kind of want to do. If we do end up rallying based off of midterm election news. And then the only way that these puts would really start to do very poorly is if the CPI data comes in better than expected on Thursday. But it would be pretty interesting if the Fed was very, very hawkish on his stance with everything, because during this past few days meeting, the Fed knew what Jerome Powell knew what the CPI data and everything looked like. So it's going to be interesting to see if he was just posturing. And yeah, I mean, really, it's just going to be a day-by-day sort of thing. Clearly, we're looking very bullish. We closed above prior level of resistance, but we closed right below 380. That's another sort of difficult thing to see. If we close above 380, 381, then that would be much more bullish, especially with the MACD very, very oversold, because the MACD is showing that there's a lot of strength here. Very, very clearly, this is very, very oversold. We should be, it'll make sense that we would move up here, right? But usually when the MACD looks this strong, it doesn't usually continue. Tomorrow could be a bit of a choppy day. We could end up falling to 374, trading within a range here. And then we could continue showing some sort of choppiness heading into CPI. But aside from that, the main thing that I'm trying to look at is the bonds falling, but then the dollar is also falling, right? And when taking a look at the VIX is also basically stagnant. Looks very similar to, I mean, it's just really not showing anything really here. So the bonds weak, the dollar is also weak, and the VIX is stagnant. And the other thing that I want to look at was Tesla is very, very overextended to the downside as well. So if we continue seeing weakness out of Tesla, that can maybe pull the market down. It depends on how much further this can go. But aside from that, there's not much else to look at. We know that China is bouncing because they were basically told by the banks to do some buybacks, and hopefully that should do well for our Baba calls, but it's not a guarantee. I would like to take some profit over here around like 74, 75. We got in around 61, 62. So let's see how that plays out. But aside from that, there's really not much else to look at. I hope you guys have an amazing day. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.